Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dirty Shore Underground. Tonight we are returning to our Zombie Fest. As it is August, the end of the month, we get back into zombies. But before we really get down into it, as always, Rob.
Make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday. And of course, bonus episodes returning at the end of the month on Sundays. Or on Mondays, sorry, on Mondays. While you're there, make sure you click on the Amazon link. It's on every single post, including the back episodes. Our entire catalog is available at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. And the link to Amazon is also on the homepage. You click through there, it takes you to Amazon. You shop as you normally do. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but we get a little something back. It helps us to keep the lights on, keep the internet flowing. So please do help support the podcast network by clicking on the link there. And of course, hopefully you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's a great way to stay up to date on everything that's going on, and with some live events coming up at the end of the month, with Fear the Walking Dead, everything coming up in the next few months. It's going to be a great way to stay in touch with us and let you know everything that's going on. And of course, we're going to tweet out links to the live stream. We are live streaming this and every episode at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. If you are listening to the audio version of the podcast, you're missing out on half the show. So make sure you go on over to YouTube, scroll down to the bottom, click on live comments section. Join us and you can comment, become part of the show, ask questions, make comments. We read stuff out as it comes up on the side, so make sure that you join us there for the live stream. And if you're following at Dirty Shore UG, you'll be able to see when that pops up. So make sure you do all of those things so you can join us and be part of the show. So before we jump into the zombie apocalypse, I got a question off the top to ask you.
Okay.
So last week we talked about Comic-Con and everything that was coming out there. And the new Suicide Squad trailer came out, and we kind of talked briefly about Suicide Squad. Have you heard the news about Suicide Squad?
Obviously not, even though I watched the trailer again today.
So here we go. It's I'm going to catch your legitimate first thought. So, you, yay or nay on Suicide Squad?
I'm like...
Kind of in the middle? Why are you in the middle?
DC movies are always hit or miss.
Yeah.
With me. Always. I still haven't seen Batman vs. Superman, so I'm not sure how Ben Affleck's going to play out for me, but I'm hoping it's better than his Daredevil version.
It is, I would say, but...
Not sure how I feel about Wonder Woman yet.
Okay.
I know it's leading into Justice League.
Yes.
So that's a plus.
Well, Batman vs. Superman is leading into Justice League.
This will lead into
Suicide is not. No.
It'll help in a way.
It's building the crowd for the series, but it's not actually leading into Justice League. So, as Flash comments here, they let the critics see it for the first time on Tuesday. Wednesday, the reviews came out. It has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But that's means shit to most people.
So that's the question: is what are your thoughts about the critics saying 33% versus what your sentiment is about the movie already?
Well, first let me say this. I think if anybody wants a real review of movies like these, they should come here after we see them.
Sure.
Because critics are critics and they get paid to basically bash a movie if they dislike one little thing about it a lot of times.
They get paid to make commentary on movies. So, good or bad. I mean, they come out very strongly for some movies. Marvel, they're sucking a lot of dick on Marvel movies. So, why is the DC something different? I don't know. But they are saying it's 33%. Does that impact your desire to see it?
No.
Will you go see Suicide Squad?
I'll see it when it comes out.
It's coming out Friday.
Blu-ray.
When you get the bootleg, is that what you're saying?
No.
When you download it from online?
I stopped doing that because Comcast hit me. I deleted all my shit,
So when it comes out, so nothing changes by the critics giving it 33%.
Come on. I knew everybody was bashing Sharknado, and I still watched it.
Fair enough. Before we went live, we were actually talking about Sharknado, and Sharknado number 4 is coming out. Gotham guys, sorry, there's a bit of a commentary again. You're missing half the show if you're not joining us at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. Scroll down to the comment section, you can join us there. There's a back and forth a bit about Batman vs. Superman, and then Gotham guy says, are we discussing the theory that Marvel is getting to Rotten Tomatoes to shoot down DC? I don't think, Gotham guy, that they are doing that. I think, though, that Marvel is much more centralized. It's
It's
funny
more
and
mainstream.
yeah, it's very mainstream.
With the exception of Deadpool, which, because of an amazing campaign that they put out, went very mainstream and beat out all the movies.
Deadpool was mainstream in a non-mainstream way. It was saying, you know, we're not mainstream, which kind of made everybody want to go see it. We're rated R. We're different. But Marvel, the heroes are much more recognizable. The second-tier heroes are recognizable. I mean, like, other than Batman and Superman, when you start getting down into Suicide Squad, other than Harley Quinn, which nobody knew really, and y'all are going to lie and say you did, but that's fine. But nobody knew about Harley Quinn before, so, you know.
because these are people that would have had to follow the comics or the old cartoon shows.
And maybe they did see it from the cartoon show. Maybe that. Justice League. I know who Wonder Woman is, but they don't follow the storylines. They might know who Aquaman is, only because we make fun of Aquaman. Flash, most likely your only interest comes from the TV show. So it's not like Marvel, where they're first tier, they're second tier, they're third tier. Yeah, and it's much more tween. It's focused on the tween. So comments from the Alliance there in the comment section are that they're still going to go see it for the most part. Gotham Guy makes a good point, which I'm about to make, which is DC is dark and is very dark, takes risks, and makes more a diverse cast. And I agree with that completely. Gotham Guy, that it's a very different look.
And could have been Deadpool though.
Now, and maybe in Deadpool, but again, that is mainstream because they were trying to be anti-mainstream. Mm-hmm. And you know, the Batman doesn't belong in the Marvel universe. It's questionable morality. It's all that stuff. And Batman vs Superman brought up a lot of issues about heroes being demigods and how the people looked at them, which is kind of what inspired, in a way, the Heretic series that we did. That what if you took that next step and heroes were actually gods and people worshipped in that way? So, I mean, I think that Suicide Squad, people are saying that the cuts of the trailer, critics are saying, that the cuts of the trailer don't show the movie that you're going to see. That what it shows is, here's a great song, and here's a trailer that hits the beats of the song, but that the movie is something completely different. All I know is that at some point in that movie, Margot Robbie is going to get dressed on screen, and I am down for that 100%. Will Smith as Deadshot.
That's going to be my favorite part, I think.
And I mean, it's a collection of bad guys being bad and somehow good coming from it. It's the vein of Punisher, which I understand is Marvel and in the Marvel universe, but it's in the vein of Punisher where we like him just because he's so unlikable. That's how Suicide Squad is. I don't know how Jared Leto's Joker's going to play into it. I don't know how Batman's going to play into it. I think those two things are set up for Justice League, though. Let's introduce these two guys briefly so we can move them on to Justice League.
I think he's going to end up being the leader of Suicide Squad, and he tries to go off the rail, and then that's when you see Batman probably
come in
last half hour of the movie trying to stop him.
It's going to be interesting, but yeah, I think it's don't buy in. My advice to you is to not buy into what the critics have to say. I will tell you my favorite critic and big fan of the entire network, Jim Gisriel. Check out his YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Jim Gisriel. You can find him on Twitter at JIMM Force, Jim Force, but with 2 M's. And find links to everything. It's fantastic. Check it all out. He does really great reviews, and I'm waiting for his review to come out on Suicide Squad. And it's not going to change whether or not I go to see it, but I mean, I'm definitely going to be seeing it. So I think everybody should. It was interesting to me that there had been nothing but positivity from the fans, from everyone, and then critics see it and they immediately shit on it. And they did the same thing with Batman vs Superman. And they're going to call it a failure when it clears $300 million above what it costs. And I mean, Batman vs Superman cost, $350 million. It made $850 million, and they're like, oh, it's a huge failure. How is that a failure at all? You can make that much money, but
probably because they were expecting top Deadpool.
And Gotham Guys sorry, again, if you're missing out on half the show if you're not watching the comments section at youtube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. But they are talking a bit about the movie, theories about the movie. And it'll be interesting to see. I think that once we both see it, we should do an episode on it and talk about it. So guys, I hope you do go see it this weekend and enjoy it. And kind of let us know what you think. No spoilers, please, because I don't think I'll be able to see it till next week at least. So definitely check that out.
That means when you're sitting in the theater, send them a picture.
Do not. The pre-roll is fine. So, Flash, it just wasn't the movie that it should have been, and they ruined it in the trailer. When the first trailer shows, you haven't seen it, but whatever. When the first trailer shows them all teaming up, now you know how the movie ends. Because the entire battle in the first 2 acts doesn't matter. Because in the end, you know they're going to end up teaming up. And we kind of knew that because of Justice League, but they could have finished that movie feuding and been another movie that led to Justice League. Ridiculous. But I did mention in there Heretics. Please check out the Heretics series. We're super proud of that. It's youtube.com/OTheAnthem. So check out the Heretics playlist. It's got all the Heretics videos in there. And it's our take on the comic book universe where superheroes are gods and people have religions that follow those superheroes. So I really hope you guys are enjoying that and check those out. But to the topic of the day, which is another big thing that came out at Comic-Con, which we kind of brushed over last week because we knew we were going to do a little more talk about it, is the Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead trailer. So where do you want to start?
We might as well start with Fear because that's where we've seen the most.
Yeah.
Where to start with Fear is the question because we've seen so much from each little group because they were all broken apart at the end of the first half.
Right.
Let's start with Nick.
Sure.
Walking down the highway, covered in blood again.
Yeah. Well, and so it's weird because we saw one kind of camouflage with Michonne, where you walk with the walkers.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a different kind of camouflage, where he covers himself in the gore. But you were saying while we watched it, very reminiscent of that season 1 trailer with Rick, where he's riding the horse down the middle of the highway. So very good on them for kind of picking up on that imagery, because I hadn't realized it until you said it, but it's very much that same thing.
Again points out that he's going to be our Rick.
Yeah. Well, that's your theory, that he's going to be the Rick. But, so we know that he basically left the group, right? And he's off doing his own thing. What did you pick up from the trailer?
The big thing that stood out to me, at one point when the people finally got a hold of him, they threw him to the ground, they had the machete. I was like, oh man, he's about to lose Rick's hand. Because they had it right over his wrist.
They did,
I was like, oh man, that's where the hand goes.
But, yeah, so I guess suspicions. Later on, we see that that Madison is essentially looking for him. I mean, are they... Nick is headed clearly north, because wherever they were, he was headed to Tijuana. And Tijuana, for those who don't know, is on the border of Mexico and California. So it's a popular place to go if you live in California. You can just kind of go across the border there. So he was heading north up the Gulf of California, or up the Baja California, to get to the border. And it looks like Madison's kind of chasing him. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the assumption.
That's what I gathered.
But they smartly are trying to avoid the walkers, and Nick doesn't seem to be the type to ever avoid the walkers.
That's exactly how that's going to go.
Go ahead.
Gotham Guy says he's concerned for Fear, as it looks like they'll have 2 separate groups, so 2 separate stories till people get back together. Something we're also used to with Walking Dead because it's happened in a couple seasons.
Right.
Slows the pace down a little bit, but I think they're going to ramp it up in the back half of the season because they don't have a choice at this point.
Right. And I think it's Gotham Guy points out that Walking Dead intended to make fans split and leave. I think that it's risky given the kind of we don't know where the show is right now, and whether or not it would come back at all. So it's an interesting choice for them to do. Because you have to favor storylines. You can't split it evenly, and then the story becomes about coming back together. When they did that, that was at the end of season 2 at the farmhouse originally, and then again at the end of start of season 4 at the jail. So it was way more established, and we liked these characters, and we were in on these characters. And I'll be honest, frankly. If dad and son, Chris and his dad, I can't remember his dad's name now, but if they die, I'm not going to be, okay, good. they're off on their own, and I'm not invested in them. I don't really care. I really looking at Nick and what's happening with them, and then obviously we have Madison and the daughter, and they are looking for Nick, and that's the storyline I'm kind of involved in.
Nick, Strand, Madison, and the other guy.
Well, no,
the other guy that was doing the tortures.
Daniel.
They're like the four main people from here.
Right, and then so like when you split off Chris and his father, now I'm already like not even caring about them. And again, we don't know a lot from the trailer. For those of you who haven't seen the trailer, it's very kind of it shows a lot without showing a lot. But we do know that they're splitting up and that everyone's going their own direction. So
the most we've seen was with Nick.
Yeah. So we know that Nick is still doing his camouflage thing. We know that he is running into some of the road gangs, very much like Mad Max, where there are gangs that own the roads and you have to avoid them. So
unexpected.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about the bus scene from the trailer, which was a big deal?
As soon as I seen it, I thought about the girl from the compound.
Yeah.
Who was holding all the zombies, and she was telling Nick this is the next stage of life, blah, blah, blah. So people were eating the damn thing. They killed themselves to go into this next stage. And I felt this is like them accepting it, and they're going into the front door and out the back and joining the club, per se.
So, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I guess that's one thought process to go, and I'd be interested to see what the Alliance has to say about it. But I think that it would be weird to go in to get bitten that way. And maybe they don't... I mean, they have to know that when you die, you become a zombie either way. Because if you get eaten, you might not turn. You know, you might end up with, like, no legs, and you're just dragging yourself on the ground. I feel like it would be much better to do the die, and then get dumped off on the other side, rather than walk. Mm-hmm. To me, it looked much more like a sacrifice. Like, we need to feed the dead to keep them at bay. So somebody has to go sacrifice. Flash says, zombies are a metaphor for the deadness Nick feels inside. And that's the English major's take. As most English majors, I think that Flash is looking way further into it than anybody who wrote the show actually would do that. Because that means that the entire universe is a metaphor for the feelings of a single character. And generally zombies are more of a statement about the situation in society in general. That there is a class of citizens who are not awake and don't see what's going on around them, and then there is a group fighting them or avoiding them and being drawn towards them. So, but my take on the bus was that it's a sacrifice. That they are choosing somebody, and everyone says their goodbyes, and then the wife slams the door shut, and he walks out the back of the bus. And it kind of goes in with that religious, semi-Catholic, but kind of not thing that the same woman from the compound was talking about.
What if, since this was like another town that we were seeing, obviously in the direction Nick was heading,
yeah,
that's used as like say somebody wronged somebody or something. Remember the one group from Walking Dead? They would get punished if they lied or stole from another member. What if this is like a death sentence for somebody to kill somebody in the group or something like that? That
definitely could be that, because it has the same feeling too, where we can put you in there if we need to, but it's better if you just get to say your goodbyes and then you walk. So your punishment is you get to be dead. But I guess in a way though you could still survive, because even if you die, you don't die. Whereas, if they shoot you, the likelihood is that you...
Because they're going to pop you in there.
Yeah, that you're dead, and you don't get to come back. So, I mean, that'd be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think that this entire, we joked a little bit about the zombie cartels last year, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how much that really plays in. But it seems like the religion is playing really, really... hard into it, and that especially in Fear, it's taking on a bit.
Well, isn't religion super huge in Mexico or something?
It is, yeah. Everybody there's Catholic.
They're just super into it and shit. So,
which is why I think that's kind of what they're trying to play off. They're trying to play off the religious aspects, and that everyone who's Catholic still has these other little religions, like local religions, that they also kind of play into Catholicism. and I think that the zombies are basically like creating a secondary religion that involves Catholicism but not anything else. Flash with an interesting comment. The whole universe takes place in Rick's head. It's going to be a St. Elsewhere ending. Did you ever watch St. Elsewhere?
No.
It's a show in the 80s. That worst ending to a television show ever. I think they were on for 8 or 9 seasons. And the last episode, they zoom out, and it turns out that the entire thing took place in a snow globe on a kid's show. So it was like, everybody's like, oh, that's a horrible ending. Anyway, so.
Then Quantum Leap. Remember Quantum Leap?
Yes.
Wasn't the guy in a coma and then he woke up at the end and he apparently dreamed the whole thing?
I don't remember the end of Quantum Leap, but that actually sounds familiar. That might be how Quantum Leap ended.
Because a lot of people said that's how Walking Dead was going.
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
That would be a shot in the face to every fan out there.
The comment there about being in Rick's head is that at the end of all of these seasons, Andrew Lincoln's just going to... and he's going to be in the hospital bed, and this entire thing has been a dream of his. So, Gotham Guy, lots of chanting. I don't remember chanting from the... Was there chanting in the trailer? Did I miss that? Or was that last season? I guess the last season there was some of that at the compound. But, yeah, so lots of... Flash says, nonverbal autistic kid snow globe. Yes, yeah, so the kid couldn't talk. He was making up the entire world in his mind in the snow globe. And that was the end of the show. Twin Peaks also had a horrible ending. Lost. Lost made sense if you knew where they were going with the show. Dallas had that inter thing where, like, after they killed off a bunch of characters, then they had somebody wake up. And they're like, oh, the last 2 seasons was a dream, and then they continue with the show as if that stuff didn't happen. Yeah. So, like, yeah, they killed off like 4 characters.
Like, if they had something happen like that and then Andrea came back, it'd be like, done. Sorry. You got rid of the person who annoyed me most, and then you're bringing her back. Kiss my ass.
But yeah, so, it looks like they are further and further from having a crossover with The Walking Dead. Because, if I'm correct... The timeline is basically caught up with Season 2 of The Walking Dead. Because, you know, Rick was in his coma about 2 months. That puts them about when they got to Mexico. And now we are in that process of moving north. So that's about when he was rejoining the family. And he found out that his wife was banging Shane and all that stuff. And they're moving towards the end of Season 1, towards the farmhouse. At that point, they start moving away from Mexico. So I don't see how the hope of this actually coming together gets slimmer and slimmer as we go along, especially with the family splitting up and there being a lot of risk. So
they did say we're eventually going to see somebody that was in Walking Dead and Fear. So
did they say? Who said that?
They said that when Fear was getting ready to come out.
Well, I guess we'll see. We'll have to see how that works out.
Arrow is the shit.
Colin, please don't get him started on Arrow. No, thank you.
Give it a shot, man. You can watch Netflix while you're waiting for a ride.
Can't watch Netflix while I drive. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
While you're waiting.
I'm driving while I'm waiting. I don't sit. That's you have to keep moving.
Then how do you write the calls?
Because I do voice recordings while I drive.
So listen. Just listen.
That misses out on half the damn movie. Anyway, not important. So, we see that Chris. So going back to Nick. So Nick is wandering. He comes into a guys on the road, which I think are gonna end up turning into our Negan crew. Same kind of feeling, like the road bandits who take what they want and kind of do what they want.
Or the group that Daryl ran into.
Well, I think they're
Flame group.
They're a little bigger and a little more organized than that. I think it's kind of a mixture between them and the governor in a way, because they do have a town clearly and they have rules that they follow. There's a lot of comments going on in the comments. So again, you're missing out on half the show if you're not checking out youtube.com/c/dirty-ota. Make sure you and following at Dirty Shrew UG so you get links to the live stream, because we live stream every single episode. But so we know that he is kind of in safe hands, if you will. Maybe not the safest hands because we don't know what those people are doing, but he is, at least in the trailer, he's found a place to dig.
They're gonna make him a king because he can walk amongst them.
Well, and then he collapsed and had to get saved though, so because he wasn't drinking any water. That's what you have to do. Gotham guy asks, since Fear is so far south, any Call Saul or Breaking Bad crossover? Well, I mean, there is that theory that that Breaking Bad is what caused the zombie apocalypse. Because if you remember, back in season 5 of The Walking Dead, there is some blue meth mixed in with one of the medical bags, and they said that and in season 1. Daryl says that Merle used to get meth from this kid out west who used to call everyone bitch, which obviously sounds like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. And then if there's blue meth, then this exists.
Watch Breaking Bad.
Really? You're giving me shit about Arrow and you've never watched Breaking Bad?
You watch Arrow, I'll watch Breaking Bad.
First of all, Breaking Bad is cinema verite. It is like the pinnacle of the golden age of television. And Arrow is a superhero movie or a superhero show on CW. They are not the same thing whatsoever. It's an hour-long movie every week. Breaking Bad.
So is Arrow.
No, not the same thing at all. That's like being like
One
Citizen Kane, and Sharknado. Both of them have men in them. They're both on film.
What's
Clearly, they're the
Citizen
same thing. Oh god. Okay. But yes, I mean, I imagine that they are in the same area, so that they could have something, like we might see a reference to the blue meth or something like that, or we may see somebody who was like in the cartels in Breaking Bad in this show. I think that would be nice to tie it together and say this is one big universe. Yes, Flash, it was beautifully shot. That's another great point about it.
The blue meth started zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. So, I think it'd be interesting to prove at that point that it was in the same universe and that kind of stuff goes on. I just think it's hard. How do you get anybody who's in the Walking Dead cast out west?
I don't know.
Who's still alive that has left that we didn't see some kind of resolution from?
From what I heard, it's supposed to be somebody from season 1 or season 2.
Everybody's dead though. We didn't just disappear people. They're dead.
I think there was like 1 or 2 people that just went off on their own at some point in time. I gotta rewatch it because obviously we're 7 years deep now, so. But something like that. I mean, maybe somebody randomly encountered somebody who wasn't significant on the show, but you seen them and then they just disappeared. Did they die or anything?
Right.
Or anything like that.
But they would have to get back up north for that to happen. So, although with Nick going north, and with Madison and Strand and everybody following them, there is that possibility that they do head back into the U.S. and go that direction. But we don't know where Chris and Travis are headed. Who knows? They're going off on their own to find their own way. Speaking of them, we saw them a little bit. They're stealing a car or something. Like, we really only saw a flash of them in that entire trailer. It really was very Nick-centric, which lends itself to the thought that Nick is Rick, essentially.
Nick, Rick, one letter
difference. But there's a lot going on, and at the same time, we don't really have any clues about anything. It's kind of funny because that's about the same thing as The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead gave us even less.
I was going to say, so it's funny that you have so much, but nothing at all. Because the Walking Dead trailer is arguably longer than the...
6 seasons of flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, literally the first 30 seconds are just flashbacks to stuff from the previous seasons, and then it's another 45 seconds of new stuff where we don't see anyone who's in the circle. Everyone who's in the circle we saw in the first 30 seconds. And it's weirdly nostalgic. It's almost like you're trying to hurt me. It's, when you have that breakup and the person is just like, I'm going to say some real fucked up shit to try to fuck with your heart even worse. Because it's like, here, all of our trailers, we're going to show you your favorite moments from all these characters, and then one of them is going to die. The first thing you're going to see is one of them dying. Even though I guarantee it's not the first thing.
I think it'll be the end of the episode.
The end of the first episode?
I think we'll hear a bunch of talking from Negan for an hour.
Well, I also think they're going to show introduction to the kingdom with King Ezekiel. We're going to see like background on Negan for a while, and then they'll cut back to the circle, and it'll be.
I'm interested in how the tiger plays in. So.
Well, so my understanding from the comics is that the tiger was just, like his power play. That it escaped from the zoo and he kept it alive, and then like a pie thing.
I want to see if he has it domesticated to the point where it's like an attack dog. He's just like.
I think it's just for show. It's on a chain. I don't remember. Obviously, I didn't read the.
Like the tiger goes and eats somebody, and then they play the Cat Williams skit while he's eating a person.
Could. I guess what to say.
Not likely, but it'd be funny.
And obviously, that part of the trailer also tells us that the guys that we saw at the end of last season wearing the gear and on the horses were in fact from the kingdom.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, so that was kind of the thought, was that they're from the kingdom, and there they are. But yeah, so the first 30 seconds is, don't you remember how much you love these people? Oh god. Alright, so Flash, for people who don't know, Flash is an English major, and she is pointing out that the tiger is a metaphor, and I'm sure we're going to have an entire speech about what that metaphor is. The first 30 seconds of the trailer is just flashbacks to your favorite moments with people. And Carl looks so young in some of those images. It's just like, I can't believe how small he was. And I thought, it wasn't on there, but I was thinking about him with the hat eating the pudding out of the can. Was that at the farmhouse? Mm-hmm. Later on?
That was when they were heading for Terminus.
Right, okay, so that was even 2 seasons later. Yeah, so, but just eating the chocolate pudding out of the can on the roof. And even from there to now, he's aged so much. It's kind of crazy.
I wish they would just cut his fucking hair, though.
He likes his hair long.
Season 7, cut his hair. He looks like a girl.
Yeah,
No wonder he almost got raped in the, 2 seasons ago? And then Rick bit the dude's neck out?
God damn, man, that's a little rough.
Well, it's true.
Coral. Yes, Gotham Guy, Coral. But no, so, and it's weird because, like, when you have a character like Carl or Rick, we literally saw moments from, like, Season 1, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, and then you have, like, Abraham, and it's like, well, here's some of the moments from the last 2 seasons, because that's all that he was around. But even so, you still have that, like, oh, God, I love these characters. I don't want any of them to die. But how about this?
I've seen one moment with Norman Reedus, which kind of scares me.
No, there was a couple of them. He was in other people's too. He was in Michonne's. He was in Rick's. He was in other people's. He just didn't have that many by himself. Flash. So, a nice 1-2 punch of people in the Alliance commenting. You're going to have to go to the comment section to see that. It's at youtube.com/c/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. And of course, make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to get the links to the live stream that we do every single week. So, what are your thoughts, based on just the trailer, not who you think it actually is, based on the trailer, who do you think it is that's going to have a meeting with Lucille?
Well, she asked me right after we watched it.
Yeah.
I still think Glenn.
You still think Glenn?
I still think
even though you just pointed out that Norman Reedus only had one scene in his little flashback.
Well, you said you've seen more. I went off the voice.
Okay. Well,
I only heard him once.
And he did only talk once, yeah.
But he's never been a big talker anyway, so.
Right. Eugene's was all about, it was basically a little story about him manning up and how he was a bit of a pussy and then now he's manning up, and so it seemed like they were building him up to be a hero, which of course with Greg Nicotero, who the hell knows, that could just be a false flag, we don't even know. But it seemed like they were trying to paint him as like, look how much growth he's had. And now he sacrifices himself at the end. That seems to make sense to me. So,
I mean, that could, maybe you just see him down in front of the bat, like, ah!
See, I don't functionally see it based on, what I saw from the show, but based on that part of the trailer alone. So, other than that, though, the rest of the trailer, we saw the kingdom. It looks like what the governor was trying to do with the town.
But he was a dick.
But he was an asshole, and Ezekiel doesn't seem to be. I mean, he's got the scary tiger, but, that's also, part of just keeping control of stuff. But the few cuts that we saw, they have crops growing and they have trade and obviously they have armor and they're making like swords and stuff there. So they have a lot going on there. It's a really functioning town. So I mean, it looks like kind of like paradise, and I don't know.
Band together against the saviors.
Well, and I think that so it's Morgan and Carol. No, who's with Morgan?
We seen the only people we seen after the flashbacks really was Morgan and Carol and the one girl that was pregnant.
The pregnant girl, and then so we know that the pregnant girl is out with dreadlocks. They're out together because they both left together.
Mm-hmm.
So we assume that he's there. But who was with Morgan in the field when he was blocking the shot? Was it Rick?
Yeah, it was Rick. Because he told Rick to head back to town. He would find.
That's right.
Carol.
He was chasing Carol. So maybe it's that Carol and and Morgan end up finding the kingdom.
Yeah, no, because I think they found the spears. I'm pretty sure that the kingdom guys will find them.
So, what are you hoping for from the kingdom? I don't know if you've read any of the comics that had any of that stuff in it.
I'm just getting into it.
So what are your thoughts about just that part of the universe?
I'm hoping it'll be great. It looks like it'll be fun. Ezekiel looks like a cool character.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the tiger eat somebody.
But
look, this one's inside the realm of possibility. I've given up on swimming zombies.
Yeah, because zombies don't swim.
I realized that after playing 7 Days to Die.
Okay,
they walked across the bottom and tried to pull me under.
Yeah. But so I think it'll be interesting because Ezekiel and the from what I understand about the kingdom, they avoid conflict. They're all about trade. They're all about, controlling stuff and having stuff that people need and then kind of forcing their hand by trade, essentially. And I like that idea, but I don't know that idea works in this universe.
Tiger chow down.
Yeah.
Hashtag it.
So it's we will be looking for during Fear the Walking Dead hashtag Tiger Chow Down. So that'll be the next thing. But I think it'll be interesting to see how our group would fit in with them, because Alexandria was very peaceful and kind of kept to themselves, and then our group came in and all hell broke loose. So it'll be interesting to see how those kind of things blend together. The other thing that we saw was a little bit of Negan's crew, the Saviors, and
the blood dripping off the bat.
But we already knew that was going to happen. The thing that I immediately don't like about him is we see Negan walking out of a store, out of a door, and everybody kneeling, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm already not liking how this was going, because I dig a strong leader, because I think I would be the same way, but then the one who makes you bow down and bullshit, and then there's that girl who I don't think we've met yet. It's just a character who says it can always be worse. Whatever you think, how bad or bad you think it is, it can always be worse. So I don't know that I'm going to dig Negan as much as I thought. I mean, I'm sure I'm in love with Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, because I think he just fucking is nailing the part. But I don't know that I'm going to like Negan the character as much.
And Trevor's still alive.
Trevor's apparently still alive. Yes. So.
A little more GTA 5 nostalgia to come.
Gotham's guy says Negan versus Kingdom storyline with Rick and crew in the middle. I don't think that it's going to be Negan versus the Kingdom. I think it's going to be Negan versus the crew, and the Kingdom is going to come in support. They may end up in the middle, as it were. Gotham guy says Rick came in and went ape shit and ruined some things and made some better. Oh, we're talking about Alexandria. Yes. That's kind of what happened, but it was their reaction to the way that our crew lives. They just objected to it. And so I would imagine that the Kingdom people would have the same idea. They'd be like, wait, you just go around and kill people? That's not what we do. You sneak into a radio shed and just murder people in their sleep? That's not what we do. Gotham guy says they bowed for show. Negan looks to be about show and facing opposition, show and violence. I get that, but from what I pulled from that scene, I didn't see anyone to show off for. There were 4 saviors and Negan. Negan walks out the door, he puts Lucille on his shoulder, the 4 saviors bow or kneel, and then he walks past them. So there's no one to show off for. That's the problem.
Show of respect in some way, maybe like medieval times.
I mean, I get that, but it's
like he's
a show of fealty is fine. I don't bow for no man. So this
Imagine
is why
if he was walking by and they all had to kiss the bat.
watch out, barbed wire. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that if that's how Negan runs his shop. I said initially when we first were talking about the Saviors last year, I like Negan. I like the idea of the character, but it looks like it's going off in a weird direction. I find that characters like Ezekiel and the Kingdom are a little weak, and I don't think that they would actually survive in a real-world situation like this.
Saviors have all the guns.
Yes, except for what our crew has.
But I mean, as we've seen in the radio tower, they
have a lot of
massive weaponry, so the Kingdom to link up with Alexandria and help each other out.
Yeah. Lick the bat. Gotham guy, inappropriate.
Only the tip, though, or you'll bleed.
So, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff going down, and the problem is that the trailers seem to cause more questions than they do answers. And it's a great thing about them. It's a horrible thing about them. It's like, oh, hey, great, we got new material, but I don't know what any of these like little snapshots actually are going to be doing. We don't know anything about it, but am looking forward to it. So Fear the Walking Dead starts at the end of the month. I think the last weekend of the month, right?
On the 20th.
Wait, can't be the 20th. That would be the 21st.
21st. I was thinking the wrestling show.
Yeah, there you go.
Wrestling show on the 20th. Fear on the 21st.
So speaking of that, we got a lot of big stuff coming up this month. And, obviously we love putting out all of this free content for you guys. And we're going to get into some of the stuff that's coming on later in this month. But obviously it's free content for you, but it has some cost for us. It has our time. It has the internet. It has the websites that we have to keep going. So what we really appreciate is all the support that we've gotten from everyone out there in the Alliance. You can help us out by going to the Amazon link at DirtyShowUnderground.com. But another way you can help out is by going to Patreon. Patreon.com/OTheAnthem. That's Patreon.com/OTheAnthem. And becoming a supporter for as little as $1 a month. Literally, there are 2 sodas sitting here that cost me $3.18. For less than the cost of these 2 sodas, you can actually become a supporter on Patreon. And actually, the $3 bumps you up below the lowest level, bumps you up to the next level above that. You get access to a lot of stuff. You get early access to the Heretics episodes. We've got 3 more episodes coming in the future. It gets you access to the email list, where we send out emails with information about what's going on. And in the future, we're going to have some behind-the-scenes stuff going on. Obviously, as we start to integrate Dirty Shore a little more, we'll have more behind-the-scenes stuff for Dirty Shore that you'll only be able to get if you are a supporter on Patreon. So make sure you head over to patreon.com/OTheAnthem. Become a supporter. Like I said, it's very little cost to you, but it helps us out greatly. When needs come up and we need to get things purchased for the podcast, that is the bank that we go to when we don't have anywhere else to go. So we do appreciate all of our supporters, and please, please, please keep that up. Another thing you can do is to spread the word about this podcast at DirtyShoreUnderground.com, about the Anthem Alliance podcast at AnthemAlliancePodcast.com. For anybody who doesn't know, that's actually the after show, or the fans-only show for the The Anthem podcast, the flagship show for the network. So Colin and Flash, who are two people in the comment section right now, do that show every week. So make sure you're following at Anthem Alliance on all your social networks, AnthemAlliancePodcast.com for new episodes of that podcast every Friday. Make sure to check that out. And of course, the Anthem podcast every Tuesday. Myself and Corey, the other co-founder of the network, we do our podcast every Tuesday. Make sure you're following at The Anthem on our social networks, and check out what we have to offer. And if you like all of that stuff, all of that is absolutely 100% free. The Heretics episodes, 100% free. All of this we do for you because we love it, and we want you to enjoy it. So check all that stuff out. If you like it as much as we like producing it, become a supporter on Patreon and help us out. But the coming month, we have a lot of big stuff going up. So coming up next week will most likely, hopefully, depending on schedules, be our preview show for
ACW's Broken Dreams.
ACW's Broken Dreams, yeah. So we've been kind of talking about this since the last one in June.
Yep.
And now they're building it out. If you are local here to the Midshore area, it is in Denton, Maryland. It's on 5th Street at the Denton Volunteer Fire Company. ACW, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling, is bringing in their show. Once again, tickets are available through Russell the Love Muscle. So make sure you look for him on Facebook. Hopefully he'll be with us here next week to do a preview show to talk about what we have. And there is so much big news going on in that world.
Yeah. It's blowing up right now for these guys.
Yeah, so we are super excited to get into that. And of course, barring any battery problems, we'll be live streaming from the event. So make sure that you are following Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook so you get access to all of those videos. And you want to make sure that you follow along with us.
I'm going to borrow Matt's 20K battery pack.
Good. So make sure we keep everything sharp.
Yeah.
And so we have Summerfest coming up in Denton. As part of the Summerfest festivities, we do have the ACW event happening that Saturday night. If you come up. Kenny and I will both be there. We'd be happy to take pictures with you, do whatever you want to do. Just say hi to let us know you listen to the podcast.
And I do believe I'll be out with the kids during Summerfest for a while, so I'll be helping Russell spread the word for the show that night. So
come out to Summerfest, look for us. We'll both be there, and just say hi. And of course, let's see. So the 21st is Fear the Walking Dead. So we will be back with a bonus episode of Fear the Walking Dead. And then that week, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about just in general about the show follow-up, about Fear the Walking Dead follow-up. And of course, at some point in there, Suicide Squad, going to see Suicide Squad, and a whole bunch more.
I will, if it pops up, I will risk my shit for
just
that, so we can talk about it.
And I'll see if I can find you a bootleg copy somewhere. So.
Even if it's shitty quality, as long as I can hear it, I'm good. You don't want to know how many times I watched Deadpool in shitty quality.
So, and another special treat for anybody who's following at Dirty Shore UG on Instagram, they got to see Kenny enjoying a Not Your Father's root beer, which you have again tonight. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they should sponsor the show.
Really, they should.
Small town brewery. Look, when I first heard about this, people all over the radio was talking about it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it anywhere.
I found the last 2 6-packs in Denton with the first time I had it. So that was back in summer.
I tried other ones.
Yeah.
And then you said something to me about this one Saturday, and you bought me one to try, and it's really good. I tolerate beer.
Yeah.
If I have to. This is something I could drink all day long if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I like root beer, as we know.
So yeah, so everybody should check out Small Town Breweries, Not Your Father's Root Beer, highly recommended by Dirty Shore Underground.
And also, since Colin's still watching,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he missed a live stream of you smashing his version of Lose Yourself on karaoke.
I did. I did, in fact, smash that on Saturday. So hope everybody enjoyed those videos. You're not going to see that very often, but do us a favor and send a shout out to Small Town Brewery. They're on Instagram and Twitter. Let them know that you heard us talking about Not Your Father's Root Beer and how much we love it. And just try to help us out. Again, it's these little ways that you can help us out, help with the show. Stay tuned next week for our preview of the ACW show episode. And then, of course, we're back at it Fast and Furious, looking at bonus episodes every week, plus a full show. God, we have so much going on coming in the fall. So keep an eye out on all that stuff. Once again, new episodes of the podcast every Thursday. Make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com for those. Also, they will come up on your RSS feeder of choice. So whatever third-party application you use, if it's iTunes, Stitcher, Dogcatcher, whatever it is, Pocket Cast, which I use, you can add us on there. New episodes will pop up right there. And if you are able, give us a rating and a review. It helps us climb the charts and so other people can find the show. So make sure you're helping us out where that's concerned. And, of course, follow us at Dirty Shore UG, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on everything that we have going on. What else? Oh, live stream. Everybody's at the live stream. YouTube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG. ota. Keep an eye out for our link. We'll send out the link. Join us as the 5 to, I think the most I saw was 9 people have.
Our interaction is getting stronger.
Things are getting crazy. So 120, about 130 comments this week. So you really can't beat that. So join us in the live stream and add in your commentary. You can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com for more on stuff that I have going on, including signing up for my mailing list, for my political blog, the news website, and of course the books, which are available on Amazon.
And now they really need to buy your books.
Yes, absolutely. Because I am done at my job, and I need you guys to help me. Help me by purchasing those books. They're fantastic, and of course it helps me out when you guys buy those. So look at
or just forward him money on Facebook, because apparently you can do that.
Do that as well. I'll take money over the purchase, but I do like the purchase of the book. So check those out. And of course, as I said, make sure you check out our podcast every Thursday at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. Check out the Anthem Alliance podcast at AnthemAlliancePodcast.com. That's new episodes every Friday. And of course, they do go to your feeder of choice, whether that's Stitcher or iTunes or Pocket Cast as well. And Oh the Anthem podcast, new episodes every Tuesday. Make sure you're following at OTheAnthem.com and on all your RSS feeders of choice. So, do you have anything else for this week?
I think that's it.
All right. So, look out for all that new stuff we have coming up in the next couple of weeks. We will see you guys in the next live stream. Again, Alliance, thank you for all your input this week. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.